Okay, good, good, good. And we are live. Yes, yes, yes. I'm excited. For everyone in the chat who sees me right now, of course, you won't see me for the duration of this. I'm just the moderator, of course, but I have this kind of hue around me as though I'm the one, and I'm really not. Pace is the one. But anyway, so our show breakdown is changed, not drastically, but considerably. Before we were doing the Q&A lives Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Now we're going to be doing them on Tuesdays and Fridays, but they're going to consist of having a group of individuals where we can bounce ideas of each other. Of course, our wonderful host and Kimberly will be asking all the wonderful questions that she asks because she's so experienced. And we'll be getting all these cool perspectives. So, of course, if you want to ask Jamie a question, Corey a question, Thomas, Caleb, our amazing guests for today. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
Fantastic.
Good,
Great.
good, good.
Amazing.
Yes, yes. This is going to be a lot of fun. Again, Kimberly is an amazing host. I had the privilege and the honor of meeting Kimberly for the first time at Squad Up Summit. Were any of you guys at Squad Up Summit?
I was.
You were? Yes, beautiful. Jamie, you got to be at Squad Up Summit next year, brother. It's going to be amazing. I'm telling you, it's amazing. But yes, it was a brilliant experience. That's where I met Kimberly, and Kimberly has me on this crazy journey now, and I love Kimberly to death. And so she's an amazing host. She's going to take good care of you guys. The Money Bee Challenge, July 1st and 2nd, that went pretty good. For those who want notes from that, we have PDF notes. So let me know if you want the notes. I'm going to put my email address in the chat. But without any further ado, I'll let Kimberly jump into the mix, and you guys have a great time.
Awesome. Thank you, Derek. I mean, like, I like how he puts me on that pedestal, right? Like, he is like the best hype beast. But first and foremost, a big thank you goes out to the marvelous, magnificent Morby Media team. They work so hard to pull these off. It takes numerous texts and emails to make people like myself feel comfortable and alive, and all my guests. So I am Kimberly. I'm your every Tuesday live at 5 host. I have two sides. My real estate side, I close, I consult on different projects, and I connect. I do lending and private money partnering. My entrepreneur side, I'm a nursepreneur. I'm a nurse by trade, 22-ish years, 31-ish in healthcare. I'm also a coach, a CPR instructor. I have a ministry here in Southwest Michigan. I'm a keynote speaker. I'm a podcast host, and I'm also an author. So I have a lot of stuff going on, but I love doing this because I get to interview you guys. And like Derek mentioned, the format's changing. Before it was like one-on-one or 1-to-2. And so we're doing more of a panel. So I'm doing everything improv as I always do. So I ask for your grace and forgiveness first. So today we have the pleasure of Caleb and Corey and Thomas on a deal. And then Jamie, who is muted, by the way, wants to put in the chat that he's muted. Oh, there you go. Cool. And Jamie's going to be speaking on behalf of his deal as well. And so I'm just going to shoot you guys questions. You guys can tag team. There's going to be comments that are in the thread. You can answer questions. It's very just, we're figuring it out as we go, right? Like as we do in real estate, where we're all nice and fresh at the beginning of the open of escrow, and we're all like looking jacked up and ghetto at the end. So first, I'm going to start with Corey, Caleb, and Thomas. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you guys could just do like a little Cliff Note version of what you were doing before you got into the real estate world and what you plan to do, and just a little bit of a 411 background about you fantastic fellas.
Yeah. If you don't mind, guys, I'll go ahead first. I'm a firefighter, so I'm at the station today.
Oh, yay. I did not know that. I just was so enamored of your mustache at Squad Up. I had to that's where we met. I was like, no, you have to get this angle because it's my better angle.
Yes, and thank you for that. You definitely helped taking pictures with the ladies. But so I just want to jump in because, if the call drops, I got to run.
Sure.
But basically before this, I was in the fire service. I got into real estate right after becoming a dad.
Wow.
That's when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And actually, I didn't even know, I didn't know what it was about. I literally read it because I was like, hey, I'm a dad now, and I want to be a rich dad, so I might as well read this book. And and that's what led me into real estate, got into Bigger Pockets, and then a wholesale buddy of mine actually found the podcast, the Bigger Pockets podcast with Pace, and was like, dude, you got to listen to this. And so that's what got me hooked. And so then time went on, I ended up joining Sub 2, and now I'm here with these great guys and doing deals.
Wow. So thank you for serving. That's a job that I would never want to do, but I have a special, I mean, being a nurse, you talk to people like myself all the time in the ER and the OR. So thank you for your service, because that's just that's an amazing but very intense job, especially as a dad and everything else. So thank you. How old is your kid?
I've got two. I've got one that just turned 4 a couple days ago.
Woo.
And then I've got one that'll turn 2 in a couple months, and then we got a third one due in December.
Oh, God bless you. Mine are teenagers. So. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. How about you, Caleb?
Well, I actually read Rich Dad Poor Dad back whenever I was in my teens. It seems like everybody was in some sort of network marketing or something. And I was young. I just not old enough to have a job and intrigued by making money. So, but that's when I first read it. And I grew up in a family of construction workers, so I could basically probably build a house from the ground up just from being in proxy of all the people that work in the construction industry.
Cool.
And where I don't know, there's YouTube, right?
That part, yeah.
I always said I would never rent because I didn't ever want to throw my money away. So me and my wife got married real young. I was 20. She was 18. And we bought my first house for I'm embarrassed to say, about $10,000. And it was just a little trailer. But we kept it for 2 years and ended up selling it for $25,000. So that was truly my first deal.
Wow. That's awesome.
Ended up moving to Louisiana, and we bought a house over here, and I was wanting to get into real estate, but then 5 kids later, I never did it.
Wow, 5 kids. That's a whole tribe. And you say, now I'm here. Where's here? Where is that?
Well, I actually found Pace because I was always watching Bigger Pockets and anything stock market. I actually found Pace on the Graham Stephan show. He did a podcast with him, and I'm like, this guy is just like Robert Kiyosaki. I said, I found somebody that's doing what he teaches, and signed up to join Sub 2, and within like a week later, I joined. This is it, and I happened to be on kind of doing my own thing, doing the whole shiny object syndrome in Sub 2 for like 6 months. I said, you know what, I got to focus. So I came across Jada Tholey, who invited me on their team. And at that time, it was KJ and Joseph Mudd's team. And I'm very loyal. I stayed with them for 6 months before I got my first deal. And now I'm on my 5th. So it's
wow. That escalated quickly. That's amazing. I've had great banter back and forth with Jada. So I have actually an official call with her on Friday, but we've been sending audios back and forth, and she is a cool chica. That's so cool that you guys start so young, that you're not like pushing 50 like me. So congrats to that. And did you say you're New Orleans or you're in Louisiana? Where at in Louisiana?
I'm in the Shreveport area. It's more than Texas, close to Texas.
Okay, gotcha. And Corey, where did you say you were from?
Northeast of Atlanta.
Okay, so we have a bunch of Southerners in the house, and you have the Northern or Midwest girl. And what about you, Thomas? Where are you from? And tell us a little bit about you and your background and all that good stuff. And then Janie, we're coming for you. We're coming for you.
Yeah, so I live in Colorado.
Nice, love that state.
Got into Sub 2 last year. It's almost, it was August of last year, so I'm almost 1 year in. I spun my wheels for a few months trying to figure it all out. The turn of the year came around, and I was like, man, I got to connect with some more people, get with a team of people who are doing deals. And that's what I did. January 3rd, I reached out to Sub2 Drew. And he was like, yeah, come on board. We'll get you what you need. And, at least let you, get you the coaching and let you focus on developing your skills. And that's what I've been doing.
Very cool. Yeah. And I mean, I think everyone has to circle down that drain of and I don't really, the shiny object. You have to try all the things to see what you're good at. We've had this discussion on lives before. And like when I started off nursing, I didn't like where I was at. So I moved to the ICU. So sometimes you might start like, I hate cold calling. Like y'all that cold call people, like God bless you. Like no gracias. Like I don't want any part of that. Like deals come to me and that's how I close them. Like they just fall in my lap like magical fairyland tale, and that's it, So, I mean, I think we have to kind of spiral a little bit to find out what we're good at. So very cool that you guys, Corey, are you on a team then? Are you on a team, or are you just kind of solo doing things?
No, so me, Thomas, and Caleb. I think Caleb, you're still on our team, right?
I am still on the team by proxy, but I'm more honorary than anything.
Yeah, so we're all part of KJ, Joseph, Andrew, and Bradley's team.
Cool.
Since their merge in, what was that, December, I believe?
Yes.
And so Thomas here, he's one of our outreachers. So we have it split up with we have the whole team, but then within that team, we have 3 separate smaller teams.
Okay.
I'm one of the team leads, and Thomas is one of my outreachers. So he's out there making calls to agents, trying to lock up subject to deals. Mm-hmm. And right now I'm mainly focused on helping him whenever he has issues, not just him, but the rest of my team. When they have issues, helping them overcome objections and call calibrations and doing role plays and stuff like that.
Very cool. So curious, how many females are on your team? How many Mollies do you have?
Now, well, yeah. Oh, you mean the whole team or just my team?
I just was being silly because, real estate investing for women, like I've noticed when I speak with other women, like they're either on it. There's not a lot of people that are out there like in the universe, like I am, just kind of floating around. And so usually women are like on a team or with their husbands or their boyfriends. They're not, so I always like to ask because women only make up of under 30% of real estate investors. Like, speaking to is like 27 to 28% are women. So I always like to ask just for my own knowledge, because I find myself always like surrounded by these strong men, whether it be doing an Ironman or when I work in surgery or in the ICU or investing, because all my partners are male too. And so I always just like to ask like, well, how many women do you have on your team?
Yeah. So, I mean, for our whole team, obviously when it comes to Molly's, like we've got Jada. She's probably one of our best and interactive. I mean, obviously KJ is one of the leaders. Mm-hmm. Within my team specifically, we've got Brooklyn, Eden.
Nice. Love it.
I'm Fallon. I'm blanking on the other one, and I'm sorry if you're watching this that I'm
well, shout out to the team Mud. Like I didn't realize that when I was speaking with Jada that it was so expansive. I thought it was just kind of more of a tinier team, but this is like, this is a big operation. So shout out to those guys. Love these guys. You're already getting comments. Tina McKissack. And that's so awesome when you can find a team, because it's hard doing this by yourself and doing things solo. And so when you can form a good team like that, so shout out to the team. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Very, very cool. All right, Jamie, coming. I feel like I'm on the Brady Bunch pointing to you guys. All right, Jamie, coming for you now, guy.
So before this, I was a pharmacist. During it, I was a pharmacist as well, and I'm still a pharmacist. I will continue to be a pharmacist.
Nice. You're my people. You were the ones giving me my Levofed, leave them dead in the unit. Like that one, huh?
Never heard it. Great one.
You haven't heard that? That was an old school.
No.
It shows how old I am, really. Because now you use Levo for everything.
So I joined Sub 2 21 along with my partner. He can't be here right now. He's in Israel, so it's like 12 or 1 o'clock for him. So he's still
Wow.
sleeping. But we joined Sub 2. We made a friendship. We immediately went to Daily Dow, started meeting people, made a bunch of friends there,
Okay.
and met a lot of them in Clever Summit. I don't know if you heard of it. It was several years ago. I think it was Cody Sperber's last event, but it ended up turning into Sub 2 Summit. Everyone in Sub 2 was there. So we got to hang out with everybody. But it was a great experience, just like Squad Up Summit, but way before.
Were you at Squad Up too? I missed everybody. Like, it's crazy. Raquel said she needs a team. There's so many ways to find a team. Just go out and post it in the free creative site, and someone will pick you up for sure.
Yeah, we'll reach out to Jada.
Yeah. Are you guys expanding then?
We're always looking for people who want to make calls. Obviously, people have life issues that come up and they can't do it. So we're always open.
Awesome. Well, there you go. How can I learn how to do this? Who wants to take that? Jamie, you want to tell Bridget how to do it? This is how we do.
What is it you want to do? First, figure out what you want to do. And then find people that are doing it and provide value to them.
That's a great answer there. So your partner's in Israel. Does he do active investing over there or just with you here? Like, where are you at? Like, what state are you in?
I'm in South Florida. So another Southern boy.
Okay. So we have Florida, Colorado. See, I'm already blanking.
Georgia.
Louisiana. And
Georgia. It's okay.
Georgia. There we go. Cool. And so you're working as a full-time pharmacist, and then this is just like your side gig then? You just have all this extra time being like behind a computer, saving lives and pushing out pharmaceuticals, and then you just do this in your spare time. Do you have a family? Do you
Yeah, I have a family, kids and everything, but this is mostly as my retirement plan.
Oh, cool.
Everything I do outside of my work is for my future and for my partner's future. Because as I mentioned in the podcast, our goal is to get him over to the United States.
Okay.
So he wants to move over, and we're working towards that.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Well, I mean, and feel free to use this platform for not only for people to get to know you guys, because I mean, I've been in since August too. And I haven't met some of you guys, and I'm pretty active. I mean, my networking has gone down a little bit because I get so busy and stuff, but this is a time for you guys to utilize this to let the audience know too, what your needs are. You can drop it in, in the comments and whatnot, because it's a chance to organically get to know you guys improv style. And this is the best way to just have these raw conversations and stuff like that. So let's get to the meaty part of the deal. So I'm going to start with you, Corey, Caleb, and Thomas. Tell us a little bit about the deal, how you found it, who was involved, if there were specific community members that you want to give a shout out to, and just kind of go over the ins and outs of the deals from open to close. And you guys can piggyback off of each other as well.
Yeah, I'll let Thomas take this because it was mainly his deal.
Yeah. So I reached out to the agent. It was an on-market deal, on-market listing. And, first sentence in the listing was motivated seller.
Always.
Okay. And so I reached out to the agent and, went through a basic outline of, a call structure. And kind of try to get some motivation for why they were even selling this house, why they haven't price dropped it, and what kind of offers they've been getting. And I offered a creative solution. And of course, the agent's like, oh no, that won't work for these people. And that was the end of our conversation. And I just had a feeling, I'm like, I got to give him a call back. I'll give him a week. see what happens. And I did. I gave him exactly 7 days, called him back, and the whole conversation was different. He was like, actually, I think this might work for these people. It's like, great. Our process is, I developed the initial relationship with the agent and kind of just see if we are a good fit for them, and ultimately push it to one of our closers who reach out and have that process call. This is all the things to look out for with this kind of transaction, and the items we need to get to our underwriter for the deal or for the offer. And it turned out that they were missing payments. They were about $7,000 behind on their mortgage, and they had already moved out of state and had bought another house. So this house was just going to the wayside. Like, they couldn't take care of 2 houses. And we were able to step in and ultimately catch up their payments, $7,000, put money in the seller's pocket, of course, and pay the agent. So it truly created a winning situation for everyone.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So they were in arrears, and was the title, when you did the title search, was it all clouded with liens or anything else crazy? And then what did you guys, and Corey and Caleb, you can piggyback off of this. What did you guys do? What was the exit strategy for this asset? Were you wholesaling it? Were you holding it? Were you turning STR, MTR, LTR, care home?
Yeah, so typically what our team does is, unless it is within, I believe, the Houston city limits, typically we wholesale it.
Okay.
If it's a nice enough deal that the leaders, KJ, Joseph, they want it, then they'll buy it. But for the most part, wholesale all the deals. But the beauty about this team is that, like you had asked if the title was cloudy and all that stuff, like, we don't know. That, we make a call and we send it up, and it goes to the next person in line, who then does their job and gets it through the finish line.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's true. When you have a team, everyone has it, just like in the ICU or a pharmacist. You have certain people doing, one person's drawing up the meds, the other person's pushing it in a code. Yeah, okay, that's super cool. And how about you, Caleb? Did you guys use any TCs, or do you guys have in-house TCs, and everyone? It sounds like it's a well-oiled machine. Like, you guys just.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's one great thing about the team, is there there's a process. And the biggest thing in getting the deal done, in my opinion, is building the rapport. So you have the solution, so they have the problem. And the biggest thing is convincing that seller to let you solve their problem. And because it's a creative deal and it's unconventional, whenever you have a team like this, people aren't looking like, okay, well, one person's coming in and they're just saying, okay, well, give me your login credentials, and you start paying your mortgage payment. Because nobody would do that, But if you build up the rapport and say, hey, we've got underwriter, we've got an acquisitions manager, we've got a TC, we have a process. We may not even want this deal,
That part might not be a deal.
But, we want to solve their problems, because a lot of these sellers are in a situation they need to get rid of the house. Like Thomas's, they had 2 house payments that they were making, and they didn't have any equity. They were behind on their payments. That probably is going to be a dead listing eventually. So that's one thing I love about this team. I mean, we call one. I've been in sales for 15 years. I worked for Pepsi for 8. I work for a coffee company now. I've been doing that for 7. And one of my favorite sayings that one of my managers told me, he said, if you've been on a date, or if you've been married, you've closed the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, what you have to do is you got to go in and say, hey, we're real people. we're a real business. This is what we do. You know, we're not
Mhm.
trying to do this, we're doing this.
Yeah,
And
it's all about deliverance. Yeah, and how and a lot of people don't have that emotional intelligence and that reflective kind of mindset to be like, okay, how could this have gone better? The debriefing, right? And I think trust is huge. I don't come in as an investor. If I have to talk to someone, I'm like, I'm a nurse by trade that solves problems creatively through different solutions that are tailored to you, something like that. I don't come off as like, and because like I was in a forum once and I was looking at all the feedback on how people view investors, and it's like hedge fund, slimy, BlackRock kind of, you know, like thinking that you're big like BlackRock or like a big, huge, you know, entity where they don't realize that we're just regular, ordinary, like humans that have these extra awesome powers to solve problems creatively through solutions that work. And then you get that rinse and repeat track record, like with the realtor that was once closed off. It's just like, oh, wow. And then you can a lot of times rinse and repeat the same kind of transaction with that realtor. And that's why this should be relational, you know, versus transactional. And that's where I think that's a good point. So that's awesome. And do you guys still speak to the realtor too? Do you guys have that continued relationship with them or no?
yeah, the point is to build a relationship with the realtor so they can make more deals to us. I know
Yeah,
even in
that
my
part.
my own business, you know, I'm getting deals brought to me. So
Yeah.
I'm
Awesome.
kind of
Very, very,
To go
very,
back
very
to your point, Kimberly, that's exactly what PACE teaches: how to help people, not just go in and take their property, but how can you help people? And that is what's amazing about all of PACE's community, sub two, Gator, top tier. It's just all about helping each other.
Yeah. I mean, and when you come from like a helpful, caring field, like Corey is a firefighter and Jamie, you're a pharmacist and all these different. So that's, I always lead like work with what you have, what you've been doing, and then just spin it into real estate. Like that's just an easy hack. And then those conversations can come more just fluid and easy. Like if you're a dad, simulate something with a story. Story sells, and stories you don't have to remember. They're your stories, unless you have dementia or some kind of traumatic brain injury. You're going to remember, or you're a liar. You know, like you're going to remember your story. So anytime that you can connect it, then you always have something ready. So I always say relate to people. In nursing, as you know, Jamie, you have to establish trust really quick. Or like you, Corey, like look me in the eyes. We're going to put your kneecap back in place right quick on the floor here. Like you have to distract people sometimes and find their bunnies, as we say in the community, really, really quick. So yeah, that's a good hack. So Jamie, tell me about your deal, what it was, the 411, if your partner was involved, and like kind of like from beginning to end, what that looked like for you.
So our deal was a Gator deal.
Okay, cool.
It was special because it came from a friend that we met in Clever Summit back a couple years back. He called us when I was at a meetup with Pace in Arizona. Needed help with a property he had, didn't have the funds.
Mm-hmm.
We had the funds. We wired it to him, and then we negotiated to get equity on the deal. And
Awesome.
back to what we were talking about before, the great thing about this deal is that the person that was selling the property was a veteran that hadn't paid his house in months because he was in the hospital. His daughter was about to lose it. Our friend Chuck Russell came in, helped out, bought the property, we funded it, we cleaned it up, and then turned it into a Section 8.
Oh, awesome. So did you know that there's Section 8 for veterans called HUD-VASH?
I had no idea.
Yeah, so it's called HUD-VASH. I don't know if it's like in every state, but it's Section 8 basically for veterans. And so just going back to your deal, so you said you wired the money, you wired it to a title company and not to him, correct?
Of course. Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify that just in case. Wow. So not only you helped provide a solution to a problem, and then you only 100x it, and then you found a solution. Wow, that's super, super cool. That's awesome. Very cool. Did you use a TC, or was anybody else involved, or anyone in the community that you want to give a shout out to, or any like bumps or bruises that you had along the way that, or was it just like a smooth because I haven't had one real estate transaction that's been smooth ever. So like I've always had the roller coasters, like craziness. So was this a pretty smooth in real estate terms deal then? Sounds like it.
But that's how you learn, with the bumps and bruises. And no real estate transaction is actually smooth. Actually, we didn't start using a TC until 3 transactions in.
Okay.
We're just hard headed, so we just had to bang our head against the wall many times before we got the hint. But after then, every transaction we've done, we've been fortunate to be working with Jake Jarvis. And she helps us with the transactions, making sure that we're not messing up and the paperwork is actually on point.
Yes, Jade's amazing, and she's got great hair. Very, very cool. So shout out to Jade. That's awesome. All right, back up to the Brady Bunch corner. So Corey, Caleb, Thomas, what are you guys doing? Like, we know that you have an amazing team, that you're doing this awesome wholesale like gig that has systems and operations to scale as fast or not as fast as you want. So, but what else are you guys doing, like individually or as a team? Like, what are your goals and what are you looking to accomplish, like within the next, however you establish your goals?
Yeah. So I actually, since becoming the team lead, I kind of like you, I was like, I can call if I need to, but it's not necessarily something I really enjoy doing. So what's got me into real estate initially, right? Because that shiny object syndrome came in, had to try different things. And now I'm going back to what I wanted to do initially, was buying multifamily.
Cool.
So right now I'm looking for anything from 2 to 30 units from Tennessee, Georgia, or Florida.
Tennessee, Georgia, or Florida.
Yeah, and I'm going to shout him out. He's not on here, but Seth Teramain, I think I've said it a couple times. I don't think he knows he's my mentor yet, but he is. I'm trying to mimic his business. So I want wholesalers to bring me deals, and then I want to help private money lenders make more money on their money by funding those deals.
Very cool. I like it. Keeping all the meat on the bone. And we have Dawn Walker. Go, Caleb. So proud of you and excited to see you crushing it. Yeah, these guys are all crushing it. Let's be clear there. I was going to say, if you liked Louisiana, there's one that's going to be getting under contract within the next 24, but if that's out of your buy box. And then feel free to, we can put your buy box in the comments. And so when someone goes back and they're like, oh, I want to look up that one dude. Where's his buy box at? So Georgia, Florida, and one more.
Tennessee.
And it was how many units? 2
to 30.
Okay. I was like, what is considered multifamily? I hear so many different opinions. Like some say it's anything over 2, some say it's 4, some say it's 5. Like, does anyone really know? Or is it like perspective versus perception?
Well, it depends. I mean, I actually just attended Vina Jetty's Multify class in Atlanta, and she defined it as anything 5 units or more.
Okay.
So I get it, and that's more the lending side of it, right? 5 units or more, it's commercial lending. But for me, I've set a precedent that every property I buy, the next one has to be at least 1 unit more.
I like it. Very cool. Awesome. Well, you'll definitely have to keep me posted on how that evolves. And what about you, Thomas and Caleb?
Yeah, so besides working with the team, I'm, door knocking, pre-foreclosures in my local area.
What's that look like? How's that going in 2024, door knocking? You need to record that and post it online or something. I would love to see that, because I never get on the Zooms because I'm always has something, a fire putting out or whatever with something, but I would love to see some content on that.
Yeah, some of my craziest stories are door knocking for sure.
I'm sure.
It's a very interesting niche. Those people are tough to work with, but
I'm sure. Yeah.
They need value brought to them just the same as anybody else.
Sure. Yeah, you take those same people, then put them in the ICU and their family, and you have Jerry Springer 100X, and then Jamie's over there sending the meds for me to sit.
Yeah,
I got you on that one. Very cool. So you're going to continue door knocking. Do you have like any goals, like any short-term, midterm, long-term goals that you want to, like specifically focus on one thing, or are you staying just with wholesaling or anything on the horizon?
Ultimately, I want to do fix and flips. I mean, I
Okay.
love the process of making old new again. So, but
Awesome.
I work on cars as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I love just restoring things. So,
Cool.
definitely want to apply that to real estate.
That's a fun one because you get to see the process. I've done a few and I still look back to the pictures. And one thing, and that is like design hides a lot of sin. I always say that. What about you, Caleb?
Well, shout out to Don Walker. She's been a huge help to me. I used to, where I'm at, there's hardly any sub-2 people that are active.
Same.
I've met a couple, but when I first started, one of the things that Pace said to do is get 50 friends, and he said, if you want to do real estate, he said, get around people that are doing real estate and you'll by default do real estate. And I just kind of lived by that. And I started going every Tuesday, last Tuesday of the month, to the Dallas meetup with Myron and Carolyn Briley. And Dawn actually would stay after the meetup and give me advice before I would leave and go back home so I could make the work the next day. So it was worth every month I did that for all of last year. And now with just being on the team with KJ and Joseph and Drew and Brad Lewis, and learning everything that I could learn, basically focusing down and calling agents and doing the thing. I finally landed 3 partners. So I have a partner here in Louisiana that I fix and flip with. So I've already got 2 that I've done here. I've got another partner that we just bought a property in Houston that actually just closed the last week that we're turning into a midterm rental, and we want 10 of those. So
Nice.
This is like the best deal I've ever done. It's by far. It's not creative, but it was pretty awesome. So that's going to be my first midterm rental.
Very cool. Congratulations. And you have a tribe of 5. Do your kids help out in this business? Hopefully they're on your payroll. I mean,
that's the story. So I probably did the ultimate sin. We because I know the person that I'm partnered with. I've known him for a long time, but seriously, document what you do. I mean, just me posting on social media, Instagram, Facebook, it gets the attention of people that and my partner, his name is Joseph Lay. He's built 100 houses back in Hawaii and Washington, and he lives here. And we ended up deciding to form an LLC together, and we bought this house. And we're going to do midterm rental, which I'm actually learning with Jamie. It's funny that we actually got on this Zoom together. Me and Jamie's got on the phone together and talked about midterm rentals and what he's doing down South Florida.
Nice. Yeah. And I know some midterm rental people too. Tigger is one. And then Regan Sanaben is another person that does corporate housing space. So you might want to connect with those 2 powerhouse ladies. I think they just started, I want to say maybe a Facebook group or something like that. So might want to connect with them too, if that's your space. And Jamie's just like closing it. Jamie's already closed 2 deals and send someone some meds somewhere in a hospital.
Caleb hasn't said this, but how long was your drive to go to the meetups last year?
It was 3.5 hours.
Oh, same.
Each way, right?
Each way. So I would get off work. So one great thing about the company I work for is it's not tied to a clock. You get your stuff done, you're good to go home. So
cool.
I would do everything I could to get done by noon so I could get to the 6:30 meetup in Frisco, Texas and stay there till 10:30. Then afterwards, they're like, "You need to go before you fall asleep on the way home." So they're all worried about me. And then I'll be at work 6 o'clock the next morning. So
Yeah, I've
You
been
did that
there.
for a whole year. That's insane.
Yeah, my meetup. So I'm in a, let's see if you guys, because most of the investors in Squad Up did not get this riddle because I often like to talk in riddles. I'm from the state shaped like a mitten. Where is that?
I
Michigan.
got that one.
Ah, yeah. Well, you already knew, Corey. Yeah, but so my meetup, so the meetups, all the leaders are in Detroit area. So I border Chicago and Indiana. So it's clear east for me. So again, 3 hours too. So I'm in a small town. There's one other investor, Justin Barber. He's actually a nurse too. And he's over in the next town. And then the next person up is Sherry, and she is in South Haven. So yeah, I understand the challenge is not being in a very populated area where people are doing like-minded things. It's a challenge for sure.
it's so worth it.
It is. It is for sure. And how about you, Jamie? What are you doing to save the world besides you bringing people from Israel and saving lives through medicine and closing and funding? Like, what else do you have up your sleeves there?
So right after we did a couple deals and figured out that we cannot do everything ourselves and started getting help, especially TC, we've been helping new gators do their first deals. So
Cool.
we've done 3 deals already like that. And some of them we've lost money, but we make sure that they don't lose money, especially the first time around. So
Yeah,
we've
you never want to lose money. That's the first rule. How did that, do you want to share how the money was lost? Was it just because like paying someone up front and the deal not closing? Because a lot of people don't know that. I want to say the stat is like only like 70% of creatives don't actually get to closing. So like what, 7 out of 10, it's high because there's so many, things that can go wrong with it.
Right. So this particular deal that didn't close, it all comes to relationships. We knew the wholesaler very well, very reputable person. He's one of the leaders in Sub 2. His deal didn't work, but the
Okay.
not the EMD, the money that was put into title went hard right away. So the gator that we brought in would have lost his funds.
Okay.
But the investor that we were working with was so honorable that he paid back the gator, what they paid plus their interest just to keep the relationship going. And
Awesome.
since then, we've done many more deals with this person, and we've all come ahead.
That's great. And I think a lot of, because I do lending too. And so that is so important that you have those rinse and repeat relational transactions, because there are things that will happen outside of your control that you can't control, and sometimes you just need grace and people need to understand. But if you're working with people that haven't had to pivot with purpose, like I say, like then that's an issue, because then you have to explain everything that's happened. So it's nice to have those relationships. When something does go wrong, you can be like, okay, that's awesome. Very, very cool.
Right.
So you're just going to expand then on the lending side and like the gator side. Do you have any other like plans as far as like houses that you want to acquire or wholesale, or you're just focusing on the gator and that aspect?
Well, gator is already automatic, basically. Deals come, we fund them, and we rinse and repeat. So now we're, just like Caleb said, we're doing midterm rental.
Okay.
And we're focusing on building up not just a quick payday,
Mm-hmm.
but cash flow.
Yeah.
And that's our plan to bring my partner over. He
Very
has a
cool.
family, beautiful family, and we're bringing him over. So we're trying to ramp up and try to get as many properties to give us cash flow so he can sustain his family until he gets up and going here.
Do you have a buy box for these midterm rentals?
We do.
You want
I'll
to
put it on the chat.
share it out into the universe?
Of course. So we're buying all creative deals in Tampa and Arizona. There's specific zip codes, usually around the big hospitals there
Okay.
in Scottsdale and Tampa.
Okay.
I'll put the buy box in the chat so everyone can see
Okay.
it.
Sounds good. Yeah, like a 3-2 or a 4-2, or like that's always helpful too if you have a draw the line in the sand kind of buy box.
Right.
Are you targeting hospitals then for your traveling nurses and your traveling RTs and speech path out, like all those kind of folks?
Exactly. Based on the market research that we've done, those are the best ones, especially
Yeah.
if they're within a couple minutes from a Trauma One hospital.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
It is great. Yes. I wish I had that when I lived in Philadelphia, because I actually commuted when I left Hahnemann University. I commuted like all the way out to St. Mary, and it was like an hour and a half drive on like 95 after working like 3 13-hour shifts in a row in the CTICU, being the charge nurse. So many times I wish there was a place that I could just crash. So very, very, very smart. Awesome, awesome.
The property that I have is actually within 5 miles of 5 hospitals.
Nice.
It's
Nice.
perfect.
Very cool. Have you guys started working on your strategies, how you connect with different entities, like for traveling? Because I can give you some tips on that, like off the screen too. Because I have so many connects with existing. I still get text, hey, do you want to take an assignment? Like, no, I don't.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
we would love to.
Awesome. So everyone can connect with you guys. Your Instagram handles are all posted there. Are there any other like ways that people connect with you with like websites or like chat forms? Like, do you have a preferred method of how you want people to get in touch with you versus like Messenger or IG? Like, go ahead and give a shout out of the best way to get a hold of you. If like someone said, oh, I saw Thomas and Caleb and Corey and Jamie, and I want to get in touch with them, just shout out what you use.
I'll go first.
No,
No, go ahead.
I was going to say Facebook or Instagram is great. Either way works.
Awesome. How about you, Corey? Corey's on mute. How about you, Caleb, after Corey?
Yes. Thanks. Instagram. I'm also, I have a podcast, Your Net Worths Network. I'd love to have everybody on there. That's the way I connect with people.
You're sounding a little bit like Darth Vader eating Rice Krispies. I heard Instagram and what else? Yeah, Corey's frozen.
Yeah, I think so.
Sounds like Rice Krispies combined with Darth Vader. We'll come back to Corey, but I know he said Instagram. And Caleb, what about you? And then Jamie.
Corey has a podcast called Net Worth.
Oh, cool.
Like yeah, so he was trying to say that. And
thank you.
Yeah. And you can just connect with me through Instagram. I actually hate it when people go through Messenger because I hardly ever check it. But I'm on Instagram all day long. You know, that's what pays.
Don't tell your W-2 person that. He's not on Instagram.
Yeah, and also too, I also lend on EMD and double closes too. So if anybody needs those, please DM me on that. Whatever amount.
All right. Nice to know.
Anyone can connect with me via Instagram. Corey left. I actually respond pretty quickly, and so does my partner. And if you have any deals in Tampa or Scottsdale, please send them over.
Cool. Got it. And then the burning question, and I asked this to all my guests: if you had somebody that was on the fence of joining, because they're like, okay, I've seen the YouTubes, I've seen the free stuff, but I'm on the fence. What like one-liner would you give them to advice in order to like see if this program, whether Gator or top tier or sub 2, is right for them?
I would say just DM me. That's the one line.
There you go. Yeah.
Because it's the best thing I ever did.
Cool. What about you, Jake?
Thank you so much.
The information and the connections that I've made are irreplaceable.
Mm-hmm. They really are, for reals. Like I said on my interview to Pace, I'm not interested in doing deals. I'm interested in the relationships because I don't come from a big family. I'm kind of like an orphan. So like the friends that I have, that I choose to have in my life, they're just that. They're like friends. Welcome back, Corey. Can you hear us now?
Sorry about that. My phone
Oh, that's
freaking
okay.
out.
Awesome. He plugged in your podcast. Your team player already knew exactly what you were saying because you guys are like connected. So he did plug in your podcast, and then we did hear your Instagram. Was there another way to connect or no?
No, just the Instagram or Facebook. Obviously, podcast. I want everybody on it. So Kimberly, I'll send you a link as well. Get you on there as
Cool.
well. Jamie, same for you. Still waiting on Caleb. We've had Thomas, so he's old news. But
But you haven't had Kimberly yet, so yay! Love a good podcast. And what about you, Jamie? Did we go to you yet? I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I haven't answered your question though. What's the one liner we can tell people?
Yes.
Community. That's the only thing.
I
I
like
know
it.
joining Sub 2 was one of the second best decision I ever made. Next, only second to marrying my wife, and that's because there's everything I can ever want in Sub 2. I've met my
You
best friends there. I've made money. I've helped other people make money. There's everything there. It's just a big family.
well, and you got, I'm sure, major points with your wife because this is going to be on all the channels and forever. So, like, good move there, my guy. Good move. Love it, love it, love it.
Yeah.
Corey, were you able to hear the question, or I don't know if you heard it. I was asking, like, what one word or one sentence would you give for somebody that's on the fence of joining, like sub 2, Gator, or top tier? I think you might be frozen again. I think so. So, everyone listening out there, if you guys have wins that you want to share and you want to be on something like this where I'm pointing like Brady Bunch style and like people are going in and out and you hear Rice Krispies and like all the funny like memes and things and all the banter we do back and forth, it's a good way for us to get to know each other. And then again, we can have these conversations and say what went right, what went wrong, what we could have done better, because this is how we all learn and how we grow. So if you wanted to email Taya@pacemorby.com, you can just share a little bit about your deal, and then you can then be on this awesome podcast live that we have twice a week happening on Tuesday and Friday. And there it is right there, Taya@pacemorby.com with the peace sign. So it's just a way to highlight you guys with what you're doing, where you're going, and what your needs are. So hit her up because she likes to get all the emails. Right, Taya?
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. Gentlemen, I just want to say, all of you guys, it seems like you have ice water in your veins. Wow. That's good stuff. I'm always nervous when I do this. It seems like you guys are like, oh, we do this for a living.
I know. It's like I'm over here having an anxiety attack every time going into SVT, having needed an adenosine or like Valsalva for
Yeah, it's a great episode, you guys. Thank you guys for joining us today and explaining your story. And just going over the details. Many people in the chat want to hear about your stories. We have people in the chat asking about how can they join and how can they start as investors. A lot of the questions that are asked, some people that are not asking those very questions don't know how to ask those questions. And so by you guys being transparent, talking about your deals, it's really a blessing for the community. And Jamie, I'm with everything what everyone said, but for me, it's community. If somebody's on the fence, it's like this community makes absolutely no sense. I'm so serious when I say that because it's so much love and your background does not matter. People just want to bless you and love on you and help you. So yeah, yeah, it's been so amazing. But thank you, gentlemen. It's been awesome today.
It has. And what I like too is we always do things outside of real estate. Like I had to drop the adenosine because he's a pharmacist, so he'd understand that, right? So that's the fun thing about this is like you can get education and other things too, and like learn hacks and all kinds of like mental tips and perseverance and pivoting and exits. Like it's more than just talking about the deal. It's just talking about like everything from, parenthood to like giving shout outs to your wife. Like those little things are so special. Just saying.
Yeah, that was big, Jamie. Yes.
It was huge.
That was big, buddy. Big time. Oh, and also too, just to follow up behind Kimberly. Yes, please send Taya an email if you want to be on the show. Someone in the chat, the Miss Tina McKissick, said she's going to be on the show soon. Can't wait to see you on here, Tina. It's going to be fun. But send Tina an email if you want to get on here and talk about your deals. We want to hear about your deals. Deals is where it's at. We want to hear about the struggles. We want to hear about the money that was lost, how we can prevent that, all that good stuff. So thank you so much, gentlemen. It was awesome. And we're going to end the stream.
Thank you.
I feel like we need to get a screenshot because this is our first panel.
It is, right? Yeah, definitely. And by the way, I hate to be biased, but I'm a sucker for bald heads. Jamie, I don't know how you got that shine, man, but mine's is shining because of artificial light. Bro, yours is like some type of oil effect or something. I know I shouldn't say that, but you gotta shoot me the oil, man. What is that? The jojoba oil or something? That looks awesome.
I got you,
man.
bro. I got you.
Okay, appreciate that, man. Yeah,
Argan
my wife.
oil. That works really good too.
Argan, yeah.
ARGAN.
Argan oil. Trader Joe's. Okay. Definitely. Thank you so much. I'm going to end the stream now. It's been fabulous. Those in the chat, we love you guys. You guys are amazing.